Then it was discovered that Duan Fei was an ordinary student. However, exactly 20 years ago, a large number of zombies appeared on Earth. As a result of the appearance of these zombie monsters, Duan Fei's life, which was previously enjoyable and happy, finally fell apart due to their appearance. And amid the disaster that befell him, he had to work and think extra hard to find a way to survive in this era full of danger for 20 years. However, after 20 years, to survive, he was forced to leave his last family member. And all of that makes him feel guilty and regretful. And all of this was always a shadow in his mind that made him afraid every day. But he was fed up and annoyed with his life like that. And after that, he vowed not to hide and run away again. However, if in the end he dies, he wants to go to hell to make amends for his mistakes during his past life. Then at this moment, he was fighting against this huge monster. However, with all the efforts he has made, he was exhausted and he had also used all his strength. But with confusion and surprise, he asked himself why, after all the attacks he had done, didn't make them hurt in the slightest. And he realized that he was indeed too weak. However, on the other hand, a child wakes up from his bed and returns to 20 years ago. Duan Fei didn't understand what had happened, and he realized shouldn't be dead. And suddenly he smelled the aroma around him, but the smell of blood and rotting flesh mixed in the air had also disappeared. And if he went back 20 years, maybe his sister would still be here. Then Duan Fei didn't have time to think about it any longer, and Duan Fei immediately put on his sandals and ran to look for his sister. And then, after that, he saw his younger sister sitting in the sun in a wheelchair, and right by the window, he immediately ran to his sister to hug her. In his arms, Duan Fei's face looked very sad, and while shedding tears, he apologized to his sister, because Duan Fei couldn't be a good brother to him. But he realized that he had gone back 20 years, and after looking at the clock, he realized that the zombie outbreak occurred on December 21st at midnight, which meant he only had a few hours left until that happened. A few minutes later, it was exactly 11:30 p.m. Duan Fei was already inside the city dressed like a hero. Duan Fei knew that this prosperous atmosphere would disappear in just half a day, and after that, there will be a very frightening doomsday disaster. Then, after several hours passed, exactly at midnight, a man was drunk under the lights. Then after that, the man was angry because a message rang from his cell phone, and the message asked him to come to the office and fix his computer. However, after reading that, he became angry and immediately threw his cell phone into the middle of the road. But after that, when the fat man turned around, a wolf monster suddenly jumped at him and killed him instantly. Then in a corner of the city, Duan Fei and Duan Xinyue were seen together. However, they saw a very terrible incident, where the young man was bitten and torn apart by the monster until he finally died. However, Duan Fei explained to his sister Duan Xinyue, all of them who have been hit by this attack will eventually become zombies. Duan Fei stated that officially this had all started, and this was the revolution period. Then after that, outside the door of a room, Duan Fei heard someone knocking on the door, and it sounded like someone was asking for help to be saved. But when Duan Xinyue heard that, she told her brother Duan Fei. The one who knocked on the door was Aunt Huang. At that moment, Duan Fei became afraid, and didn't pay attention to Duan Xinyue's request to open the door. However, after the door opened, an old woman in a wheelchair entered the room, and then, right in front of Duan Xinyue, he called her name. Then Duan Xinyue asked her aunt if she was okay. Then Duan Xinyue told him to come in immediately. However, when her aunt was about to enter, a zombie surprised them and scared Duan Xinyue and Duan Fei. And you can see that Aunt Huang's neck has a very large zombie bite mark. But when the zombie was about to attack Duan Xinyue, Duan Fei quickly protected Duan Xinyue, shot his sword, and killed the zombie instantly. Duan Fei vowed in this life to protect his sister at all costs, while he ran back to the memory of that year. But after that, even though his body was weaker than his previous life, he still has the experience to defeat novice zombies easily. Then after Duan Fei finished everything, he went to hug his sister and reassure her that she was fine. But suddenly a voice sounded in his ears, and he killed one zombie and gained 3 evolution points. It costs 1 evolution point to unlock the system, but Duan Fei confusedly shouted who he was talking to. But in the end, he still didn't know what happened, and he fainted. The person he met when he passed out was the electricity god of the temple. Don't know who he is. But there were many snippets of news coming out of Duan Fei. The systematization of other sounds has begun. The work of mastery begins. Then his body appears to be torn apart, and the gene encoding process occurs through the system's memory to form an evolutionary tree. Duan Fei started to understand what happened. And it turns out that the evolution system is controlled by the evolution tree, and its effect is to help him continuously improve his genetic code to evolve and kill zombies. However, if you kill a low-level zombie, you can gain 1 evolution point in exchange for strength. Then, after 4 a.m., Duan Fei was in front of the wardrobe to get some clothes. However, Duan Fei's current clothes no longer fit. Luckily, thanks to his evolutionary tree reconstructing his genes, his body was also much taller and stronger. Because he is in his current state, he can use his power perfectly. Duan Xinyue took out her father's clothes for him to wear. He was worried that the outside world was very chaotic, so he didn't know how his parents were doing. Since he was 10 years old, his parents abandoned his cousin. After that, apart from receiving a large amount of money from their parents every year, they never heard any news in their previous life. After the apocalypse broke out, he tried to look for his parents for 10 years, but got no news. Duan Fei advised his sister to rest assured that her parents would take good care of her. The most important thing for both of you right now is to keep yourselves safe. Wanted to see what the situation would be like out there, if it was really what the evolutionary tree said it was. When he kills zombies, his power will increase, and that makes him feel uncomfortable and let him out. However, because it was dangerous at the moment, Duan Fei convinced him by lying that he went to see if there was anyone left to save them. He promised Duan Xinyue to return before lunchtime and would not put himself in danger. Then, after that on a road, he followed the bloodstains left behind. He managed to kill several zombies, which made him stronger. Then, when he returned, he stopped at a house near his house, and he went there to see the situation inside. But a worried woman opened the door. She said that her husband and son had gone out and had not returned. When he was about to leave, he heard a sound from inside the room. Even though the woman objected, Duan Fei still went to the bedroom and opened the door to check. Then after that, at that moment he smelled blood, and a rotten smell came into his nose, and it was very strong. And in that house, there was a human who turned into a zombie, and seen in the room was his son. When he saw someone coming in, he rushed to attack, and the boy immediately turned into a zombie. But the speed is much faster. When Duan Fei wanted to attack the zombies, the woman stops him. She didn't let him kill her child. Because the woman believed there would be a cure. According to her memory, there would be no cure. For at least 20 years, because the 2 talking zombies plunged their sharp hands into the woman's stomach until she died. However, when Duan Fei tried to kill him, he still tried to protect his son. Even though it hurts a lot, he still had to kill the zombie. In order not to leave any danger, he had to protect Duan Xinyue well. As if everything was done, Duan Fei met the zombie who was the fitness trainer on the 5th floor that appeared here. Because of the smell of blood after turning into a zombie, the person's strength doubled for this trainer who previously had strength. When he turned into a zombie was even more terrifying even if he had Duan Xinyue level strength. He won't be able to fight it even more difficult when animal zombies appear before humans awaken their abilities. The most feared are zombie animals because animals' sense of smell, hearing, and speed are all superior to humans. The series keeps getting more difficult. However, after the battle, zombies from various places gather downstairs to go to a place that smelled of blood. Only now did he feel the danger. It was almost impossible to complete his move just now, so hard that the zombies below started to feel impatient, becoming more and more difficult to solve. But the biggest problem was still the 2 zombies in front of him, even though Duan Fei tried to fight them. It doesn't seem to have any effect on the zombie fitness trainer. After all, the zombie animals won't stop attacking him. Duan Fei realized that his current strength was still not enough to deal with him. However, there is only a temporary way to keep them away. And then he thought of a solution. Duan Fei threw herself downstairs, but it was so disgusting because the other zombies had reached her. She didn't have time to just think. One way was to rush forward, because Duan Fei found this side easier to deal with. After rushing to the zombies to destroy them, he managed to find a place to hide. He didn't know what happened just now killing the zombies. But there are no evolution points. Maybe the system wants him to cut the final sword to give him evolution points. Another thing that makes Duan Fei wonder is that in the early stage. And why are there so many powerful zombies about to break through? Their combat power at this early stage is a little different from the mutated rhythm he experienced when he didn't notice Duan Fei being discovered by the zombie trainer. He hit him to the ground. Making him unable to continue fighting, Duan Fei thought that even reincarnating was a waste. This time he thought he could make up for the regret. But a glimmer of desire remains. In Chinua, he has to protect his sister who is at home. But when Duan Xinyue heard a knock on a door, he thought his brother Duan Fei was back. Then after that, he pulled the wheelchair to open the door. But two zombies in front of the house want to attack him. Duan Xinyue immediately closed the door just as Duan Fei came to confront the two people. Once again, Duan asked her to close the door a little more. Even if he heard a sound, he wouldn't open the door. The zombie trainer and the zombie animals rushing to attack were no good. He can use the leveled power of the system to destroy them. Indeed, this time Duan Fei did it. He managed to defeat them. He was able to protect his sister from the zombies. He was no longer a waste who could only run away. But currently the ability is not enough. Soon the zombie will enter a tidal wave of evolution. Until then, the zombie will have a qualitative change. Duan Fei needs more evolution points. Currently, he still didn't fully understand how trees evolved, but it did make him stronger over time. He used the evolutionary tree properly, combined with knowledge from his previous life. He could change history. Tonight there will be a meteor shower. This is the night of humanity's transformation in his previous life. After the so-called apocalypse, zombies started to evolve. Revelation was the result of this meteor shower, and primitives that changed the destiny of humans and native species that fell from the sky, carrying this point energy, causing people to awaken their powers and making the anti-zombie forces stronger, and thus turning things around. Then after that, Duan Xinyue asked her older brother Duan Fei, will he leave the house? And even when leaving the apartment building, it would be too dangerous. But after that, he told his sister to calm down. This time he had to go for his sister for them. And for all humanity he had to go. He asked his sister to be patient a little more. After that, he was able to stand up because he felt that his true race was also affecting his sister. He said words that she couldn't understand. But compared to him standing on his own 2 feet, her safety was more important. He apologized to her, but he couldn't fully explain to her. But Duan Fei hoped he would give her a little more time. He then told Duan we would contact him. Then Duan Fei instructed him not to open the door for anyone else when he left. Duan Fei said to himself, even if he tells her what happened to her, she won't believe it. As long as you can awaken the ability, of course you will understand everything in a situation like this. Duan Fei shouldn't leave half a step to protect her. But the cruel reality that he couldn't escape took the risk to make himself stronger. After the meteor shower ambush, the city became silent. In just 2 short days, the world plunged into hell. Not only Duan Fei will destroy the zombies, but other troops under Shah's hand will also destroy the zombies. It is known that these people are police officers. They also investigate why the zombies disappeared after the meteor shower last night. Duan Fei arrived at the original hole in the hole, appeared a strange girl. Her body covered with strange tattoos from her ears grew red things. Duan Fei watched from afar as his eyes were as black as ink and his pupils were golden. He wondered if this was an ancient zombie. The original zombie was one of the scariest zombies he had ever encountered in his previous life. But why did it appear here? Duan Fei didn't understand when he saw you approaching him. Attack quickly. He used real zombies to attack Duan Fei. Until now, he knew he had guessed correctly. This is a primordial zombie. Primordial zombies have the unique ability to attack all the time. Now that their strength and speed had grown tremendously, Duan Fei started to think as if they were made to fight like that strong zombies were in this place. But in any case, he had to retreat with the meteorite fragments as soon as possible. However, this zombie seemed to read his mind and quickly took the meteorite before Duan Fei. He found a strong zombie today, and yesterday was a primitive zombie. Everything is contrary to what he experienced in the past. Whether history changed at this time, Duan Fei thought of something that also surprised him. Primitive zombies are created by meteorite fragments and act as protectors, because there is an energy flow around the meteorite which is quite dark, and it is related to the original zombies, which also means these primitive zombies cannot travel far from the meteorite. Duan Fei understood the problem and began planning to destroy it. He took out a vial of blood that he had prepared beforehand from his backpack. This blood was collected by Duan Fei from people who died from zombie attacks, then looked for a motorbike to run. Duan Fei ran to where the zombies who smelled blood were being chased there. He runs into a hole with a real zombie pouring its blood into it, and it turns out to be according to his plan. Then after that, a horde of zombies attacked the original zombies to bite. But unlike what he expected, the real zombies with just one attack eliminated most of the zombies there. His strength was too terrifying. It wouldn't be good if he directly confronted him at this time. He could only use the zombie starters to consume his power. The original zombies cursed a bunch of scum, then used Vine to finish them all off. Duan Fei stood outside, not expecting to face a horde of gentle zombies. He decided to move a little closer, ready to find a chance to attack. The sound of the battle just now caused more zombies, but that alone wasn't enough. Even though his strength consumed a lot, he wasn't sure if he could defeat him, but it was fine to continue like this while Duan Fei didn't. Don't know what to do. Strange animals appear, aliens rush to attack the real zombies. The energy is very strong, so you can win, which is a near evolution feature. If you can swallow a real zombie and then complete the evolution, then it will be very troublesome not to see a real zombie again. He wanted to go to see it. However, he found that his breath was still there as expected. The real zombie wanted to take advantage of the situation, killing the strange beast and killing Duan Fei. Unfortunately, Duan Fei didn't hit the trap as he expected, waiting until it destroyed the monster, which consumed a lot of power before going to take a look. Then after that, Duan Fei stood on the hill while holding a knife in his hand, and after that, he jumped down to immediately fight with him. The primordial zombie praised him for having a mind that didn't fall into his trap. You said that you would defeat him. It hated him now because he felt that he could defeat him. He didn't expect that you would dare to come back here to find a way to die. Because what he wanted was still here, he had to come back here to get it. Then, without saying much more, the real zombie rushed to attack Duan Fei through the movement earlier. He realized that his speed was slower. It was clear that a level 2 scout had to keep up with that speed. Suddenly, the zombie screamed its shining eyes. It would tear you to pieces. Duan Fei didn't know what was going on. Could there be some hidden power? Because the primordial star gave power to the zombie, it grew rapidly. Then attacked Duan Fei. He felt unwell. Maybe for now he should withdraw for a while. The zombies guessed his intention to escape using vines to block all paths. It said that it wouldn't give him a second chance to escape, dragging him into the hole and wrapping him in vines. Duan Fei felt that it would be dangerous to continue like this before he could think of a way to escape. The original zombie had to retract all the vines and vomit blood. He quickly understood that the ancient zombie's exhausted body could no longer withstand the powerful energy at this moment. His body could no longer support it to continue. After that fight, Duan Fei easily destroyed the original zombies. When he had no power, he finally gained primordial energy. Then after that, Duan Fei held the primordial energy in his hand. He still couldn't believe it was real that having Xin Yu could definitely awaken his power. Please bring this good news to Xin as soon as possible. But when he was about to leave, he heard a sound coming from the body of a strange beast. Curious, he went to see a strange beast giving birth to a zombie stage, unable to reproduce the fetus in the womb. After turning into a zombie, it will turn into energy for the mother's body to absorb. But before this strange beast could digest it, It died, therefore, the fetus in the womb was lucky to survive and inherit all the energy from the mother's body. This newly born strange beast had extremely high tameness as long as the first person to open its eyes was him. He will consider you as a relative and is truly loyal. He managed to tame him and name him Goldie. Maybe it was still weak when it was born, so he put it in his backpack for a while, not too early. Duan Fei quickly returned home before dark, but he miscalculated that it was already dark, but he still didn't come home on time. Zombies and mutant trees, due to the primordial power of his backpack, found a way to chase him. Duan Fei had no choice but to run to the abandoned factory to hide, in a nearby building. Jiakei's group of people saw him, very surprised by Duan Fei's agility. He's on the run from 5 rat monsters. When he arrived at the place where the original pellet disappeared, only Goldie was left in the backpack. The system notifies and breaks down Jean's energy when it is finished. And started to gather he didn't understand what was happening in his body, as it was being torn apart as this strange beast approached to attack Duan Fei. But something happened which made his entire body unable to use the force. Then, at this time, Duan Fei was leaning against a car. He sat there because he felt tired. However, right next to him, a group of monsters moved towards Duan Fei to attack him. However, his pet quickly saved his life. But the little creature could not make up the majority again. Fortunately, Jiakei's team came to the rescue. At this time, he assigned everyone responsible to save people and provide cover to get out of here. Duan Fei had fainted for a while. Now, once said that the captain can't just take outsiders to hide. If they are bitten by zombies, they will die, Jiakei thought. That he couldn't leave anyone alive alone after he was quarantined, and observed that it was fine until Captain Jiakei's group left school. They didn't know that Goldie was fighting with a mutant rat nearby. Duan Fei woke up again 4 days later. To greet him was a picture. Sha holds a gun pointed at him. He wanted her to slowly get out of bed and tell him. Who was he to face a zombie? In the blink of an eye, they both changed positions. Then after that, he took the gun from his hand. People outside heard the movement and came in. Seeing this scene, everyone also took out their guns. Jiakei was the one who told everyone to calm down. He introduced them as the armed police brigade led by him. Everyone present called him ungrateful. They risked saving him, now he wants to hurt them. When he heard what they said, she had been unconscious for 4 days. Hearing this, Duan Fei was no longer fighting. She had to rush back to see him stop it. Then in a room, Duan Fei faced them, and one of them pointed a gun at Duan Fei. They did that to invite him to cooperate. However, now outside, all the zombies come out like it's too dangerous. He used to see his close friends desperately hoping he would join their team in action. Before he finished his sentence, the huge beast rushing in was Duan Fei, who quickly rushed out to help everyone. He discovered that his body's mechanical ability seemed to have improved a lot. There's no time to think too much, let's deal with the strange beast in front of us. But this strange beast was Goldie. He was able to fight gold with his bare hands when he grew up. Duan Fei entered the evolutionary tree system as expected. His current strength, due to breaking through the original attribute index limit, was no wonder. He has strength and dexterity level 3. But he is stronger than before. Human gene limit is fixed. No matter how much you cultivate, you can't break through the body limit. Can now break the restrictions of slavery, proving that he can grow without limits. Even though it takes a lot of points, this is really beyond the initial value. After a while, Duan Fei went home with Goldie to apologize to everyone. Actually, the other day was very funny. Lately, due to eating too much, has grown so big he just sees everyone as his danger, so he attacks everyone. Currently, because of that noise, a lot of zombies came. Duan Fei admitted it was his fault, so he will have the task of leading the zombies to let everyone go. Jiakei wanted to help him out of fear of danger, but he rejected her request. He and his pet diverted his attention. Even more arrived at the zombie place he ordered Goldie not to take. The act of leaving him to face it alone. He wanted to see his strength. Right now, he called the zombies to come closer so that he could feel what the new power was like. After killing the zombies several times as expected, he felt that his power had increased a lot. Suddenly, a big, strong zombie came nearby. Duan Fei's joy at finally having a precious baby seemed to have awakened him to the strength of an F-rank beginner. although it awakens different abilities than normal elementary level, but it is still a zombie with no intelligence, only the desire to absorb food. After a few moves with it, he discovered that it was awakening muscle ability had just skillfully made a masterpiece sandbag for him to test his strength at 5 p.m. The people in the group no longer had the patience to shout at the captain. He left them waiting here just to wait for death. The rest of the team also started voicing their displeasure at that time. He shouldn't have saved her. Otherwise, for him, they would not enter this path. The person Captain Jiake trusted the most was no longer silent. He told them to leave quickly. They didn't know whether he was alive or dead or had escaped. Captain Jiake understood everyone's words. He apologized for making everyone worry. Jiake would go looking for him and ordered everyone to leave first. But at this time, Duanfei had arrived. Seeing it was getting dark, he let Goldie protect everyone who went to the mental hospital, and he would go back to find his sister and then gather with everyone. Except unfortunately, when I got home, Duan Xinyue was already gone. Duanfei found traces of illegal elements. The illegal elements are mischievous thugs. People who have no moral or legal boundaries are sometimes even scarier than zombies. He will definitely smash them to pieces at 9:30 p.m. The gangsters were on their way when a group of zombies blocked their way. The people in the car were worried that if this continued, they would have to die here. They consulted with Brother Guan Jialong what to do. He cursed them for dangerous rumors. Rest assured that he told his uncle. He comes to save them. Soon they will send soldiers in the meantime. Please protect little treasure well, Duanxin. Yue said, why are they doing this? Everyone should unite to face the zombies. He doesn't have the spirit to sacrifice for others who come to this country. He wants to play alone. At this time, such a chaotic situation is also the best time to develop his influence. He wants to build his own empire. Duanfei now appears on top of their car. Guan Jialong misunderstands him as a member soldiers until Duan Xinyue called his brother. When people entered the car, he saw that they were shooting at him. But they were all easily handled by Duanfei Guan. Jialong threatened that if he approached him, he would kill Duan and dropped it under the car where the zombies attacked. His sister quickly hugged him into a nearby room to hide. You will distract these people they attacked. Then after that, the helicopter followed the trail he left. At this point, the zombies nearby were all attracted, not letting it affect him. While escaping, he conveniently destroys them all. The captain in the helicopter sees this and can't believe his eyes. Is this even human? Interestingly, he found a tall building to land on to see the situation. Before descending, he ordered the 2 remaining men in their attack helicopter to use Gatling guns to attack him. Duanfei keeps calling them crazy. This type of weapon with too high damage can't be controlled if someone is lucky enough to survive. It will be in danger. You should get out of here first, too close to Duan Xinyue. They are just wasting precious ammunition because of that rubbish. Guan Yu's name definitely wouldn't forgive him. The 2 people on the helicopter were amazed at how anyone could avoid being swept by a Gatling gun. But unfortunately for Duanfei, while running away, he was hit by a sniper from a helicopter before he had no choice but to run to a building to hide, and even having a sniper was enough. He couldn't wait here any longer. The smell of blood would attract the sniper zombies again. Find where he would shoot, he happily announced, that he had destroyed the target. But out of the dust, a pair of red eyes appeared. It was Goldie who arrived just in time to save him. On the way here, at 8 o'clock, many Goldie zombies now have the ability to fly to attack helicopters. Above, Goldie finished dealing with them. She took him to introduce him to Xinyue only to find him. Duan Xinyue was detained by a sniper. 10 minutes from the end of the world, a sniper threatens him with killing him. This girl seems to be very important to him. Duanfei warns him to let go of his sister or he won't let her go. Instead, he wanted to see what his speed was. Faster or the gun in his hand faster. He wants them to stop still. Their goal is he has nothing to do with Duan Xinyue. They also just want to take you back to report. Then instructed Goldie to take good care of her sister. He really wouldn't abandon his sister. He didn't want to live in regret again. Another sniper was standing not far from this building, waiting for the right time to shoot. When he saw that he had entered shooting range, he immediately reported receiving the order to shoot from the opposite arrow. Duanfei, he was proud to have killed him to complete the mission, but in the blink of an eye he was gone. He no longer had the patience to attack Duan Xingyue. Duan Fei came from behind to attack to stop him from protecting his sister. The situation was not good. He ordered to concentrate all his fire on the girl lying on the ground. Without much thought, he rushed to hug her to protect her from the rockets. Duan Xingyue sobbed, thinking about her brother being dead. He can't have it. He can't live without it. But after that, the sniper standing beside him also howled, almost bowing to the sky. And then his right arm was cut off if he didn't use a gun to block a hit. In time, he would definitely die at the end of Apocalypse. Duan Xingyue awakened his powers. Legs also walks normally, using his power to control the snow. This time he will protect his brother. A girl named Yun and a rabbit in a flying device search for information about a native species they discovered. Right below them, that the primordial reaction had just occurred, an extremely powerful energy suddenly exploded, identified as Absolute Zero, as a rank S evolutionary form. They decided to go to this frozen area to check the situation. At this time, Uncle Guanjalong Guanzonghua was playing chess with an old man, Luo Yang. The old man asked him how he feels about what is happening in this world. He replies that the cause of the incident cannot be found for the time being. But they also couldn't sit still and wait for death with this old man's passive conservative method. The only way to die in the current situation, he was still wasting energy protecting the useless parts. How stupid Lu seems to be so old. The soldier next to young Liu heard these words and became angry as the old man stopped him from taking action against Guan Zhanghua. Then he received a notification that everyone sent to kill Duan Fei had lost contact. He was angry and went to see what was happening before leaving. Don't forget to remind Liu Yang that he continues to waste resources building refugee camps, but gave him the strength to face the zombies. The zombies returned to the other two rabbits, landing low for Yun to where Duan Xingyue had fainted. It turned out he was exhausted and fainted. That was also no surprise, while the awakening ability exploded with powerful energy into the drones and left them gone, leaving Duan Fei lying there. A moment later, his chest glowed, displaying a bulletin board that unlocked the first level of power, activating the God creation plan and starting to develop Duan Fei's extraordinary power. Then, after that, in a room, someone heard knocking on the door. Then a soldier reported to Luo Yang the results of his examination. And after Guan Zhonghua left, Commander Liu Yang gave investigators what made him rush them to find Duan Fei in an unusual place. At that location, the teenager in the video was chased and killed by Commander Guan, but he alone was able to eliminate the commander's subordinates. In the end, this young man was hit very hard, and then for some reason the place froze. Then in the final scene of the video, countless tree roots are scattered everywhere, and tracking is interrupted. Young Lu orders Sao to investigate everything that happened and definitely find him. He didn't know what happened in the end. Commander Guan's strength became stronger. His personal abilities were limited the needs of the world. Hero Duan Fei didn't know how he could regain his consciousness. Apparently, because he was hit by a bullet to save his sister woke up, he quickly looked for Xin Yue and Goldie. But the area was devoid of life he didn't know about. The ice around it guessed it was the evolution tree. Duan Fei entered the evolution tree system. It turns out he woke up because the only chance to create a god was activated with a revived body and awakened abilities. Duan Fei guessed that the ice around him was due to Xingyi's ability. So that means he is still alive, leaving the evolution tree. He guessed his sister's disappearance might have something to do with the army with the surname Guan. You have to make him pay. The next target is the army, but he cannot be trusted. According to the evolutionary tree, his chance to create gods is only once and step. Then in a ruined city, it can be seen that Duan Fei is fighting the zombies very quickly. Next, unmissable on his way to the military asylum, he encounters a large zombie. Duan Fei wanted to try out the new ability. He acquired and used the ability to swallow, but all failed. Before, he was surprised to have the ability to swallow this even in his previous life. He had never heard of this skill. There isn't even a description of how the character's rank can be increased. But his ability ranking was set from the start. His ability ranking was based on the highest limit of ability. Unexpectedly in this life, he would be the first group of people to awaken with an S-rank skill. Currently, the zombie facing him is an awakened Class F zombie. Judging from its strength and skin color, it must be strange. A relatively common strange ability berserker is common but simple. However, it greatly undermines the skill of perhaps being very confident in its strength, so it attacks him repeatedly. But some of the moves are over. But he wanted to try his swallowing skills. Maybe he could before the object was used. Those are all zombies who haven't woken up yet. He didn't know what it would be like this time, being a zombie that woke up pretty sure the desired effect was achieved, and resolution resources are swallowed. Then a huge, multicolored power flow manifested as a result of this ability. Duan Fei obtained 3 colors of blue, yellow, and red energy. He obtained healing energy and energy from violent abilities, while looking intently at the bulletin board the nearest force was approaching. He didn't know what it was, but it was definitely very big. But when Goldie appeared, Duan Fei was overjoyed because he thought it was dead. His voice from his battle and the F-rank zombie from before attracted a strange beast. However, the strange beast had an abnormally large shape that had awakened its ability that a purple monster several times larger than Goldie tried to attack them. Although there was still a sense of joy when he heard that Goldie was still alive, now was not the time to reminisce about the past. Duan Fei asked Goldie to move aside so he could deal with the strange beast in front of him first. He was just about to move forward when Goldie bit his shirt and pulled it back, signaling its desire to attack. Then after that, this strange beast he was afraid of? The problem was that the beast was much bigger than Goldie again used movements to show he was not afraid. He felt that the strange beast was no longer patient, so he let Goldie, his dog, rush to attack. But Goldie also awakened its ability, which continuously attacked, making the strange beast unable to counterattack with its overwhelming strength. A moment later, the person standing outside watching Duan Fei discovered that Goldie had double evolved. There is no way Goldie has double evolved. One is shapeshifter and the other is fire flower. Then this transformation ability is what helps him survive in the snow. And the ice, before he really didn't expect Goldie to become stronger, the battle between the two animals ended. Not long after, no wonder Goldie won. Duan Fei congratulated Goldie on the double evolution. But his current body was too big, so it was very uncomfortable, so he ordered him to use his ability to change back to his original small dog form. Goldie heard the command to change into a cute little dog. Dog with wings. Once again he ordered his wings to retract, and rest assured to be a normal puppy. Even though her eyes were full of the complaints that Goldie did when she said there were gunshots nearby. He guessed it was someone from the Duan Fei army, and his little dog quickly ran over there. Then, at a head office, he told Sis Yun that he was connected to the head office. Then, from a monitor, a shadowy figure can ask them how things are going. A group of military men protect 3 scientists in a dangerous situation. They don't know why there are so many zombies. Fire can't handle them, Dejan asked Cao Silong. Why didn't he come here? From the guard headquarters, he said that he went out to do his duty, but was played by Commander Guan. He moved his hands and feet in the car. So he gets locked up here and meets everyone again. And Dejan doesn't know why on his way to protect the scientists back to the crash site. Suddenly in the sky, lightning damages Dejan's car, saying that the people behind them are very important scientists. They are the future of humanity. But they are in a very dangerous situation now, and there is not much left to plan. That soon Dejan will cover South Ceylon and lead the scientists to safety to await the rescue. However, Cao Silong did not agree. He absolutely didn't let his teammates be in danger when several large zombies came. Luckily, Duan Fei arrived in time. He used his powers to defeat the zombies who awakened with South's abilities. Zilong saw a familiar figure and asked if he was Duan Fei. He had something to ask. But he wants him to answer the first question, whether that person is Commander Guan. Cao Silong says the commander is Liu, and he knows what he faced in his previous life. After the apocalypse broke out, young Commander Liu used all the rest of his life to save everyone to get back the last piece of land. Then, in the middle of an area, the big man stood opposite Duan Fei, and Duan Fei asked Cao Silong to step down and leave everything to... He's worried she's too dangerous alone. Rest assured that she won't be a problem. He had to go back to see Dejan's injury. He needed to be treated immediately. He understood her request and was left behind to see the situation. Everyone next was Goldie. He told her to go there to protect everyone. But if it is not necessary, do not reveal your identity or it will not enter the refuge Duan Fei. After setting everything focused on the match, only the electric person on the other side can wake up the other zombies. All beginners, he didn't have to use the ability to devour, but for a moment he saw him controlling the zombies. Basic, because he was thinking too much at this moment there probably won't be any zombies with leadership abilities. But really, it knows how to use the newbie zombies to distract it. It resulted in intelligence that evolved much faster than his memories. If this continued very quickly, Lord and King rank monsters would appear. He didn't understand if his birth had anything to do with this return to the other groups. After Sealing Celaton finished treating Dejan, he was asked who he is. You are their savior. But they can't help him saying that he is the hero that Commander Liu wants to bring back. While everyone is talking about zombies suddenly attacking, Goldie quickly saves everyone from danger. The scientist girl just saw a big dog protecting them with black wings. She wondered if it was the dog in front of her, remembering Duan Fei's instructions not to reveal his identity. Goldie fell to the ground and screamed. He destroyed all the zombies present there. Then after that, a group of people were there, and an assistant told the teacher about the crystal. And after pointing out, the teacher said that this place also has this kind of crystal too. Duan Fei thought that he had just experienced life and death, and he could immediately enter a working state, so he went to greet him and thank him. Because he had saved his life, he introduced himself as a scientist named Jiang Tianshen. He couldn't believe his ears. But was the greatest scientist in his previous life. He was so incompetent, this kind of big character was only ever heard of. But never met Professor Yung Tianqin, and his research team did not stop researching. Finally, from the gene core, the energy source was extracted to make gene medicine. From there, a large number of ordinary people began to awaken, enabling humanity to get through that very dark time. Because he is a new human who has the power to fight zombies, he is standing right in front of you now. One of his students is standing next to the zombies. Asking him to come for an important matter of importance is a giant zombie that they think has a crystal. Jiang Tianshen said it seemed that the investigation was still not enough. The laws within needed to be studied further, and thought that he would be able to unlock the energy hidden within the crystal. Hearing what he said, he just found out that the professor had started to be jealous of the gene nucleus in the mutated body that had been eaten by him, so they couldn't find it. It was impossible for him to slow down his research progress. If his reincarnation information was not revealed, he would help him to the best of his ability as soon as possible. Then Duan Fei saw a red-haired girl on a motorbike speeding towards him, and like this crashed into him. However, when he wanted to hit him, Duan Fei easily blocked the motorbike and threw it, and Duan Fei caught it. He was just happy that Cao Silong was still alive. Everyone had lost contact with him, so they thought he had died. He wanted to know what he came here for and almost stabbed that someone because a lucky group of people would be coming here soon. He came to pick them up. Then after that, he checked in with a group of lucky people who were still alive. Then he will arrange for you to meet with the commander at the earliest, before leaving South Ceylon, telling him that Commander Guan's influence is very great. 2 people are fighting. He really has to be careful not to be moved all waiting. After meeting young Commander Liu and then deciding it was indeed what South Ceylon said before he explained that it was Guan Zhanghua's own forces, he acted very dangerously also according to the intelligence network. Liu. What was important in finding his sister joining his barracks was the first step to finding his sister. There he met Ling Minmin again, whom he saved in Captain Xia Kei's team. He is currently working as a medical staff at this place. Captain Xia Kei is more competent, so he got a higher job after properly organizing. Duan Fei took a photo of his sister again. He was very worried. He didn't know where he was. He went back to the people who took Xinhua. They checked it. There was nothing they were looking for. They even think that finding a simple way. But after that, Duan Fei was sitting waiting for someone. Then after that, Ling came to see Duan Fei. Then he invited Duan Fei to eat. He took her to the cafeteria and was waiting there. Then they would surprise Xia Kei immediately. He asked what trouble Jia Ke had in the afternoon, hearing Lingman say the story was that since Jia Ke woke up because of something he was always surrounded by Commander Guan's people, they kept forcing Jia Ke to join Commander Guan. As he refused to listen, they continued to bother him. He cursed silently that it was Commander Guan. He attracted a large number of awakened people, and if he let it be, there would be danger. Two people were talking when the speaker broadcasted the announcement. Several times continuously alerted the cafeteria of Building 3 Area A that a fight had occurred, and nearby law enforcement quickly went to control the scene. Duan Fei didn't understand what was going on, so he asked Ling that at least those people looking for Ms. Jia Ke again might cause trouble. This was the third time the alert had been issued. He asked her to take him there immediately. On the other hand, a fat man tries to wrap Jia Ke up to call her to his team. Miss Jia Ke Commander Guan takes her abilities seriously, as long as she joins them on any terms. He agrees Jia Ke is angry and wants to throw them out no matter what conditions you give him. He wouldn't join them. He didn't agree with Commander Guan's management motto. They kept obstructing him, making him very angry. Between the two, there was a person who followed him under his arm, and Jia Ke called him an ungrateful bastard. He didn't want to follow someone who only knew how to build all day long. Duan Fei arrived just in time to furiously display 2 moves to defeat them, then lead a platoon of soldiers to surround them. He shouted and even dared to threaten people in this place where there were disciplinary rules. If you do not comply, you will be expelled from the shelter. Duan Fei was about to ask if his superior as well as Commander Guan Sha came to stop him from calming down if he continued to mess around. He would benefit Commander Liu. The fat young man ordered them to be captured and separated from each other. Nam gave it to him. Sha took him to the reception and personnel department. Before leaving, he asked her to go there to investigate if there was a person named Xin Yue, which he explained to her. That it was his sister, both brothers lost to each other, because Commander Guan Xin Yue had awakened her abilities. Most likely he would be taken there, then he would be taken to the prison where the prisoners were held on the street. Duan Fei thought if he knew after awakening really led to refuge, or was forced to join Commander Guan's influence. Where Jia Ke was investigated, or the disobedient Qinhua was imprisoned here for you to determine after going to a place where his sister was not there. He doesn't want to waste time here and beat 6 tall men here, dangerous fat man. He remembers you are close to Ling Minmin. If you leave here, he will have people inject zombie blood into his body. He was confused about what to do when Cao Silong appeared. I received a message that he arbitrarily used commanders on civilians, which was against the law. And the thing he was holding in his hand was zombie blood, was a forbidden thing. From the research institute that he dared to take everywhere, he ordered someone to take him away. At this time, Commander Guan couldn't help Cao Silong. He told Duan Fei that Commander Luo was waiting for him inside, then took him to see Commander Liu Yang. When he met Commander Liu, he directly greeted him in his previous life. He was only seen in a statue. He didn't expect that he still had a chance to meet a real person now. He looked like a normal, gentle old man, but his eyes showed a craftsmanship that gave people a kind of heart palpitations. Then after that, he went straight to the point without wandering around. The purpose of calling him here, perhaps he already guessed. Guan Zhonghua once sent people to hunt him and his sister, causing them to be separated. Duan Fei was surprised that he had investigated him and found out everything he said to himself with this hatred. He definitely had to pay for talking about Lord Guan Zhonghua too much. He understood her mood. After the disaster broke out, he and Guan Zhonghua were both soldiers, and his first thought was not to save people, but to fight for power, his plan. He knew his current behavior was affecting the security of the shelter. He was forced to take action. Commander Liu Yang decided to deal with him. The situation is not optimistic now. She needs his help. In the army now, basically more than half of the power is held by him. Moreover, he secretly built a branch of the army with people with superpowers according to a quick investigation of his troops with superpowers. This people has almost 100 people, but there were only 20 people on his side. Duan Fei asked if he still had the research institute at his disposal. Luckily, he didn't care. He immediately wrote down some things to give to Grandpa, telling him to give it to young Tian Xin. It would be valuable. But young Commander Liu had something more valuable. Then after that, it was discovered that an ancient civilization existed. This thing belongs to the angel civilization that disappeared in human history, and countless myths exist in the world. And in this legend, the high gods were above them creating the world, creating humans with the power to change heaven and earth, moving mountains and filling the seas. The proof that these gods exist is this piece of equipment with mystical powers is miniaturization, and the essence of an entire race's intelligence that far exceeds the scope of human interpretation. Currently, through the endless human search, they finally find out that they are all hidden in one place called ruins. The small cube ancient god in Liu Yang's hand is now the prop of an ancient civilization called Armored Angel. Duan Fei didn't think that the legend really existed. He asked if he knew the location. He had been the commander of this place for more than 40 years, with one most important goal, namely to protect the secrets of this place. Under this protection are the relics of the ancient gods with their current technology that they only mine on the premise of not destroying the ruins, just destroying the first floor. But the second floor will be destroyed. Duan Fei thought, so it seems like he defeated Guan Zhanghua in his previous life because he destroyed the second floor. At this time, you and him make a transaction. He will help him destroy the second floor, and he will receive the object of his choice. Besides, he helped find Duan Xinyue to help him. The next day, for some reason, many zombies gathered and headed to their concentration camp. Commander Liu Yang couldn't believe what he heard. 10,000 zombies came to the shelter that was being built. Unable to stand against so many zombies, he had no choice but to call Commander Guan for help. He also understood the situation of 10,000 zombies approaching the shelter in less than 10 minutes. This place would fall. He also knew that now only the superpower army in his hands could resist, but to do this, he needed one condition. Once this is done, he wants you to hand over the military power to him. Young Lu is angry at this kind of existence. He still wants to take power, he softly says, that he had told her from the start. That in the end, it only had absolute power, because young Commander Liu Qing had no choice, in addition to agreeing to this condition for the safety of the people now. Except for him, there is no other way. He couldn't risk the people in the sanctuary. After arranging everything, Commander Liu Yang ordered Cao Silong to go to the dormitory to report this news to Duan Fei. He still didn't know what was happening in that dormitory in complete chaos. Now everyone is running. He opens the door to the room outside to see the situation and sees Cao Silong running over. He told him about the situation, because the commander was afraid he would be in danger, but when authority is no longer in his hands, after which she enthusiastically gives him a map to escape. From here, he also marked his way. Everyone is just waiting to get through this wave of zombies, and then count. After saying everything, Cao Silong also quickly left. He also had to go to war with everyone. Superpowered soldiers from Commander Guan reinforcements. Then after that, a group of people were seen there facing each other, and he said from now on, leave this place to him. But in the end, he went to war. The people who enjoyed training for so long were finally able to fight. Everyone was encouraged to fight together, so as not to lose Commander Guan's face. However, things did not go according to their wishes. When the awakened zombies appear, just relying on their respective abilities can stop the zombies easily. But with zombies, resurrection is not so easy, Commander Guan called to ask what happened. He didn't expect the news he received that there were 50 awakened who were pretending to be dead. He ordered everyone to retreat. We cannot continue to let enlightened people sacrifice in vain. We can only let them go back and correct themselves. He discussed with Commander Liu along with the shelter equipment base to prepare for the rematch. Commander Liu asked Cao Silong how much firepower he had left to arrange, but unfortunately there wasn't much firepower left. A large number of zombies came too suddenly. Their reserve weapons weren't increased much. Vanguard has already spent half of it. He thought it was time to take the risk. Commander Liu ordered the South Xylon to tell the Shah to evacuate the people in the shelters, activate the last defense, and close the bunkers. He ordered the other people in charge of the defense point not to make any mistakes. Commander Guan, right next to him, couldn't help but exclaim. Suddenly like this, The scene of young Liu still being able to organize tasks meticulously couldn't help but admire. 20 minutes later, things gradually turned bad. Everything got out of hand in a careless moment. Commander Liu was almost killed by an awakened zombie, but luckily he appeared on time. Duan Fei apologized for being late. He had to find the armory to come here, leaving the rest to him to be taken care of. Then after that, to follow in desperation, out of hope for him. Then after that, Commander Liu was worried. When he wants to fight zombies alone, it's true his strength might be able to handle. Then he and Goldie jumped from the castle to the high wall. Everyone standing there was shocked. Jumping down that high would definitely die. But in the blink of an eye, Goldie had grown up and was flying with Duan Fei for some reason. The freelance commander suddenly had an unbelievable thought. Duan Fei, you can win the Goldie contest, and he went to war together closer to sea. Then the test wave was so lively unexpectedly in this life. He dares to face the waves of poetry alone. He needs the support of the camp. He has to protect this place that is sure to be a snake. The mutated zombie approached him. Mutant zombies have started to appear. It seems like this time there are a lot of zombies. There's no way Guan Zhonghua's Esper team won't be able to fight back in full numbers. At a disadvantage. The feeling of zombies once approaching the shelter, the consequences are unimaginable. Their strength is so great, so he couldn't use ordinary weapons to deal with it. Duan Fei tried thinking about combining abilities on the weapons to increase the power. Pretty sure it worked. So let's use it temporarily. Thanks to Duan Fei, people are no longer afraid. Commander Liu ordered South Ceylon to round up the incoming fake builders. Then after that, a boy who had just arrived at the shelter was fighting bravely. They can't just be ready and watch. Commander Guan was unable to help at this time, but panicked when he saw the picture. Is this your true strength? He was afraid she would not forgive him in the future. Commander Guan, he couldn't sit still waiting to die. Then after that, a crowd of zombies. Goldie turns into flames, charging at the zombies you've seen use moves against these giant lizards, before it looks like Goldie has been pushed to the edge as well. Everyone standing above looked at the power radiating from them in astonishment. What destructive power even these rocket artillery can't do is terrifying, so that the giant beast was above them. A few moments later, Goldie changed back to her small form. Duan Fei, not feeling well, is already drained. All his power, the zombie gene core that Goldie had just destroyed, shone on the ground. Goldie fainted. All the zombie genes were absorbed by it. The special energy in her body had condensed to its peak. Goldie will evolve completely because the special evolutionary energy it emits attracts the zombies all towards it. Evolution requires a certain time during which there is no counterattack ability. Now Goldie will be a treat. Here, without you having to protect it, Goldie's strategy is very necessary. Now it will increase from F to E and the power will increase to very high. And this will greatly help his future actions. This time it was a small-scale contest, but next time it can be increased 10 times, but problems gradually arise due to using power for a long time. His body was gradually tired. Duan Fei had to do his best to destroy the zombies around Goldie. Now Xia Kei led troops to support him. At the same time, Guan Zhonghua boarded a helicopter and fled with several heavy weapons. Then, a group of zombies were seen ready to attack. But Duan Fei began to order everyone to be careful. Position everything carefully, not the staff attacking the ability to stay in place to protect the cocoon. On the other side of the false awakening, Guan Zhonghua also began to split the task of combining different types of abilities to find a safe attack environment. The ability of a tall man with high defense for him to block part of the attack was given to another girl. With the ability to measure speed so quickly, he didn't expect Guan Zhonghua's subordinates to be so familiar with his skills. And there is coordination between teammates. If his and Liu Yang's goals are the same, then this refuge will definitely develop like a kite in the wind, which is a shame indeed. Duan Fei orders Xia Kei to stay here to protect Goldie, and the other one he keeps fighting. He understands, but he looks very tired and his mental condition is not good. He asks him to stay and rest for a while. You are fine now. You have to make the most of every minute someone else runs in saying it will increase hero status. He asked him who just called you a hero. It was true, if it wasn't for your appearance, their souls would have flown under the hands of the zombies. Now you are the hero of the shelter, turns out. Without realizing he became the hero of the other side, Guan Zhonghua is flying a helicopter to this place. He wants to destroy you before destroying him. Everyone who saw the helicopter thought that someone had come to give them power, but they didn't expect their ability users to see that it was Guan Zhonghua. He immediately dropped the bullet in place. He didn't understand what was going on, but he has bullets and can't dodge them without his powers. At this time, he couldn't control fast-moving objects at all. Everyone there was confused, angry, but thought he was dead, only they weren't opponents of the awakened zombies, obviously going to win. Commander Guan tells the other soldiers that the heroic teenager has died for the mission in the sacrifice of war as an inevitable thing, so he really regretted it. He summoned the remaining soldiers to revive the spirit of killing zombies, to return the greatest sacrifice for the next battle sacrifice to be led by Guan Zhonghua. The light of victory is coming. Please get angry and ask people not to listen to him. He and Duan Fei just had a conflict. Now he has the intention to sneak up on you. Everyone there told him to calm down. Although it's true, first they have to fight the zombies first. However, from the fire burning, Duan Fei came out unscathed. He knew he wasn't the one who caught the Chinua, so he thought he would let him go, if he lives in harmony with Commander Liu. But Guan Zhonghua took innocent lives from the threat area and handed them over to the military now when he saw the unfavorable situation. Him wanting to take action with him, Guan Zhonghua, was all his own fault. However, after saying that Duan Fei rushed to attack him after defeating him, he told everyone because of the time crunch Commander Guan died in battle. And starting today, Liu will be the joint commander. Their protection area is also a common place of home for everyone. Now everyone fights together. Then after that, he gave the order to defend, because there is a zombie with long-range attacks on the left, and the others will be in charge of close combat. And even though the number of zombies was much less than before, it was still an overwhelming number of everyone present there. Duan Fei doesn't know how long can last. The current situation is still very serious. Now the only point that everyone likes is Goldie. Everyone is fighting with their best. But fitness problems are quickly emerging. The defense can't hold on any longer. The strong man and army commander Guan fought hard. He sensed that the other party had fallen into a fierce battle. He knew that although the team's coordination was not bad, the first time they fought was ups and downs. Their quality and psychological abilities were not up to standard, and he could not escape from this side. Duan Fei told himself that he can't fall if the front zombies break through his line. Goldie and the refuge are both in danger as a strange animal comes from the ground to Goldie's place and is stopped by someone. He was glad he didn't feel guilty for stopping him. Duan Fei didn't feel right on the dirt road where there was still movement before he could remind him Goldie was swallowed by him. Now, because he thought Goldie was finished apart from his sister, he was his relative in an instant. This strange beast became strong, was Goldie's ability, which might have been absorbed by him. Clearly, just a little less than a flash of light, Goldie with a powerful evolved form appeared. Even he was almost fooled by him just now. The condition has been reached. Everyone is ready to continue fighting zombies. Duan Fei again wanted everyone to stay put. This time everyone's physical strength was already exhausted. He wanted everyone to rest beside him. Goldie has now evolved to E rank and will probably be able to handle them all, he told Goldie. That if he had been up a little longer, he probably wouldn't have been able to do it. The next opponent must see Goldie's expression. Duan Fei is on Goldie's back. He directed it to attack another strange beast that appeared. Then luckily he reminded him in time. Goldie immediately returned several attacks, knocking the strange beast, seeing Goldie flying high about to attack everyone, scared to run far away, seeing such a strong aura, truly extraordinary. Big fire blew away the zombies. Everyone there was scared. If they slowed down a little more, they would be hit too big. This time the zombies were cleared. Everyone present celebrated very well. They won in the end. Cao Silong praised Commander Liu for not looking at the wrong person. He shows from the start he always believed it. Wait, people think there is something. Just then, everyone sees a beam of light fly towards the hero. People start raising their guard again. Luckily, Goldie just avoided danger, or it wouldn't be fine. How could there be zombies? He clearly couldn't feel the aura of the zombies that appeared were beast lords from the dynasty of beast lords of the E-rank attacks from highly poisonous catabolic bats. This time, it was another tough thing to come along, perhaps more difficult to deal with than any of the zombies present. Today, Goldie was poisoned by this beast lord. He ordered Goldie to come down slowly to let him down. Duan Fei did not expect the beast lord to appear at a time like this. Duan Fei didn't understand why there was a lord-class zombie. One of the fake awakening team came to attack him just in name of zombie. He told the hero to put this guy to rest, so that I can deal with him. He shouted, "Don, don't approach." It's different from zombies before he left quickly. He told him to be sure that his opponent was just another zombie. Let me write the final words for this battle. Duan Fei again didn't have time to stop it. When he was gently killed by a zombie, everyone present was amazed that no blow had completely resolved his battle strength. Among those considered to be the peak, they now think that because he hates the enemy, they will finish it together. Duan Fei shouted quite angrily that he was not on the same level as you guys. Stay in place and don't move again. He told Goldie not to move. It was already poisoned. If it kept moving, the poison would spread quickly. At that time, it would be very dangerous for life. This place was passed on to you. However, you have a way to overcome it. If people go there, it's no use refilling. You have a way. You're not wrong. You're still a villager who just launched. It should be solvable if you compare your strength with the current situation. Victory is not great. Duan Fei found a way to approach it. But when approaching it takes time because the opponent is too strong, basically he can't limit his actions. However, this bat was summoned by the female zombie and launched countless bats. Duan Fei observed that this bat was capable of attacking humans. He shouted to the group of people behind who quickly defended themselves carefully. Bat behind one of them. However, unfortunately, it was attacked by bats and quickly turned into a zombie through the absorption of bats to increase the strength of the growth rate. This method is also greatly exaggerated. This is all wrong. Arousing the energy in the body is much higher than ordinary people. He must continue to stop it. If it continues like this, there will be no victory even though mentally exhausted at this time. Physical and strength are still in full bloom. He just needed an opportunity for a moment to just find his opening using full. Jack could turn the situation around. At this time, the devouring ability activated. Everyone asked if it was solved. The bats also disappeared, but everyone got excited too quickly. His reaction was too fast in that one instant, using the bat as a defensive shield. He was worried about death or damage to protection after all. Why do you always think that you have to live no matter what? Just remember, if even these zombies can't handle it. Let's talk about saving Duan Xinyue. He had thrown it out of the appointed remains. That even his life can be spent at that time developing, evolving, continuously developing. Finally, Duan Fei had risen to fight the zombies. The willpower in his body from the tree of evolution was also destroyed. Then after that, he didn't know what happened because Duan Fei fell asleep. However, it was clear that he was fighting zombies. But after that, the zombies disappeared and in front of Duan Fei's eyes appeared a huge tree trunk. This was the evolution tree. But here's what happens again. The system emerges, evolves evolution. You can't just fall in and evolve. In the end, what happened, he didn't understand the danger warning system. Somehow all the vines around the tree tied him up. Duan Fei didn't know that outside of his body, he was fighting tenaciously with the zombies. He had great strength, being able to dodge all attacks from the zombies' arms. With countless iron rods piercing the arms of everyone present, was very worried. A strange power also controlled Jia Ke and Duan Fei's bodies. After pulling out the iron rod, he quickly recovered, then took the sword and rushed to fight the zombie, thinking that the attack just now had seriously injured him. But in an instant being attacked again, it was very confusing. Why it couldn't sense any human aura from him. Since then, the zombie discovered that his whole body was emitting an unspeakable aura that was not his opponent. While running away, it was stabbed by Jia Ke. Everyone praised him for his good coordination. Not at that moment he felt a strange force of urge for him to act with it. Even Goldie felt that Duan Fei in front of him suddenly had a strange feeling. After that, The zombie girl was tied to a rock with her hands on her back. And Duan Fei, with his strength, pointed his hand at the girl's mouth. And everything happened that he didn't know Duan Fei used: Devour 1 to kill zombies, Devour time, gradually passed, completing Devour ability to unlock bad ability. Miracle happened. They won, protection saved. Everyone rushed out to greet the hero. But as soon as he fainted, everyone panicked to find a medical team. While fainting, he dreamed that he met Duan Xin Yue again. He walked to her side. He was happy he could walk on his own 2 feet. He knew Don't Be Afraid he would definitely come and save him. He couldn't go there. His feet were tied by a tangle of vines. Duan Fei begged him not to go. Please don't leave him. He wants to know where he is, and he will come soon to save him. Duan Xin Yue said brother is still incompetent. He had to be stronger to be stronger. He waited for Duan Fei to wake up from his dream. Only then did he know it was a dream. Why doesn't he have the slightest impression of what happened at the end of the game? Go and wait a moment. You will find someone to ask about the situation. And still has to be confirmed. For now, whether the pre-evolution tree situation is more important this time, he got 3 big varieties. The first is the killing. This time's type, he got a total of more than 10,000 evolution points. The second is the swallowing type ability, which devours a lot of abilities this time. But these are mostly F-rank skills. Nothing is more useful than shards, or far from enough to activate. The third is a type of treasure that kills rare zombies that will have a chance to drop a treasure. This energy source was reportedly received by him from killing a rank E lord. Still the first time to get this support. After regaining consciousness, immediately went to look for Commander Liu Young. He came here because he wanted to ask something. He wanted to know if pharmacogenomics had progressed while he was in a coma. He went to the research room. Genetic epidemiology research is also stable, ready to be used on humans. Well, then you can safely leave this place. He was surprised to hear that you left from here. The purpose of his coming here is probably clear. Now finish and next. He needs to find out his sister's genetic epidemiology will also be successfully researched, and I am sure by then they will be able to deal with any situation. He wanted to go to another organization to investigate his sister's ups and downs. This time it is also very possible that it is related to that side that he said that the center has really fallen. Since the accident happened and everyone didn't dare approach him. The situation inside is unknown to anyone. It is too dangerous for you to go there. He assured her, saying, he was sure of him. He knew very well who he was. The organization was indeed a very dangerous place, but through Liu Young he learned that the ruins really existed. So the fact that the organization has a relic that he heard about in his previous life is most likely true. You should go there before he leaves. He wants to give you something. Research department, because your battle with the tide is over. He ordered Jiang Tianshuan to research his own equipment as a war god sanctuary. How could he not have a working weapon right away? After he brought him to the organization, he felt safer. He tried to combine his abilities with the thing the professor had just researched. A huge power surrounded him unexpectedly. His research has reached this step. Then, while holding a knife with a purple color, he said that he never thought his research had reached this standard. He said that it was fortunate that his original energy sequence combined with his fighting method. He then consulted with the armor god commander Liu Young, who had just managed to research this special metal. Of course, it couldn't be compared to an armored angel. Both the original shape can also be changed to the shape you want. Use this as a weapon. For now is the end of destroying the second floor. The ruins of the ancient gods will come at that time. He will let you be the first to enter the selection time, not earlier. Duan Fei decided to leave. Jia Ka wanted to follow him. But being rejected, he knows that his upcoming journey is very dangerous, with the entire refugee camp having just passed the test and needing qualified people to stay. Goldie and Duan Fei's adventure officially began. He had been there for a week. Zombies are much more mutant than the previous life. Within a week, he tried to enter the central area several times, but every time it failed to leave. When he investigated, he found that inside the center, there were marine rank zombies. However, it was hard to imagine what kind of terrorist existence was hidden inside, but every time he approached the evolution tree, it would give off a violent reaction seeming to urge him to go there. If he could make the evolution tree emit a strong signal, he should definitely investigate. That's all for today. Go back to rest first when he gets back to his place. He discovered that his place had two strange brothers. He was quite surprised about the two of them being lucky to still be alive in such a dangerous place now. There was a lucky survivor he was protecting his sister rushing to hit Duan Fei. Then somewhere the man cursed and said harsh words while mentioning Zhou Kang's name. Then with a knife in his hand he prepared to attack Duan Fei. Because he wanted to relax his female voice, Huan Huan. However, Duan Fei stopped him and said, Duan Fei didn't know anyone with that name. At this moment both cousins knew that they had seen the wrong person, so they sincerely bowed their heads to apologize to him. His name is Chen Jiahao, is the boyfriend of a girl named Huan Huan. The girl next door, Huan Huan's younger sister, was trampled by a person named Huan Huan and finally died tragically in the mouth of that monster now. After she was left with only Huan Huan, he couldn't let her be in danger anymore. Duan Fei thought that under normal circumstances, whether zombies or aliens who had just met humans would kill them and eat them, but people who raised monsters definitely had problems. He asked Chen Jiahao to withdraw it. Under his sleeve, as expected, there is one thing which is a seed that the monsters have to depend on humans to raise, because it is a mutant flora monster that cannot find its own food. After the apocalypse occurred, the virus spread throughout the world in the blink of an eye. Most of the world's creatures turned into brutal monsters, including plants, of course, but compared to humans and animals, plants that are mostly infected with viruses only have a few special changes because their numbers are quite rare. Even more valuable. Said that even a drop of life essence in a plant body, no matter how serious the injury is, will recover. Then Duan Fei planned for the two cousins to wait for the other to come and take him with him. But when he came to Zhou Kang's area, he called him a naughty boy. But he wants to learn from others to become a hero. He calls people to continue attacking. But his men were all defeated before someone was locked in his place named Duan Fei. He said his name was Fi Feng. He remembered when he was in middle school because he didn't have parents. He was often bullied by his classmates. It was this person who appeared at a time when he had no one to help, and then always protect him. Zhou Kang hates old classmates who meet each other, so say goodbye to each other. He starts to attack him with the ability Protect. He knew this was just a normal ability. If it weren't for the poison that paralyzes the nerves under the claws, this ability could be rendered useless. Either there's no revival here, or he's just relying on the monster Flora becoming emperor. When he was about to finish him, Chen Jiahao and Li Feng told him to stop. They want revenge on him. He reminds him that even though he is injured, it is very dangerous. When he turned to look at the two of them, he found that both of them were no longer normal. He suddenly felt a supernatural ability in them. Perhaps they would awaken in their previous life. He had heard that there were indeed people who, when falling into despair, were able to release extraordinary power, thereby awakening their supernormal abilities, entering the Qinchuan Center. If there were two more false awakenings to support it, it would be safer, they would be less dangerous with him here. So he agreed to their request. Zhou Kang looked at it and couldn't help. But feeling happy, it was clear that both of them were looking for a way to die. But things didn't go as he thought. Currently, Li Feng was in danger. As expected, it was too dangerous. But after seeing Li Feng like that, Duan Fei ran towards him and said it was too dangerous. But if he could send the energy to him on time, maybe he can be saved. Only green can be used to survive. While after that it was necessary to kill the mutant plants quickly to get a source of life energy to treat Li's pleasure. As he ran closer to Zhou Kang, his body became heavier. Apparently, Chen Jiahao had awakened the supernatural ability of the field system's ability to control gravity control. Class B's gravity ability is gravity control, allowing him to freely control gravity at any time. He wanted the surprise not to stop there, but Li Feng had recently disappeared. He couldn't believe what he saw. Even Li Feng woke up. He awakened a rare assassin class ability. The Killing Light rank ability's shadow of the person who had this ability would turn into a half-real shadow. And half-real under this state, the body. The pseudo-power can change into any shape to avoid damage in the chase. The two worked together to kill Zhou Kang, but after killing him, Li Feng also vomited blood. He quickly helped her up again. Everyone had to get out of this place as quickly as possible. Li Feng had used Zhou Kang's poison, plus the intense exercise just now. The poison spread throughout his body. Since then, the monster has sensed that its adopter is dead. It started to get angry. That's why everyone had to get out of there quickly. After everyone went out, they realized that the place everyone just came out of was the body of a monster. This time it was the Duan phase its turn with Goldie to destroy the monster. Goldie was tasked with changing the regal flower's body. He would take the quest in his body to completely slaughter it. Then, in front of Duan Fei, the huge plant directed an aura from its mouth towards him. Then, he tried to activate the devouring ability. The main disadvantage of the mutant plant is that it is hidden in the primordial crystal. Its body is its essence, just need to find and remove it to be able to tame it. But the enemy's body notification system was too large to consume directly as expected. He still had to go to its source to be able to tame it. The monster made a small human voice that dared to harm him. Unforgivable Goldie pins his vine back for him. He tells him to remember not to eat the vine inside. All the poison he started to enter his body to find the essence leaving the outside for cotton. Goldie started flirting. Goldie Y helped humans merge force with it to absorb it. It could feel an unimaginable power within him. However, Goldie hates who want to cooperate with your ugly thing inside the flower. The stench is too strong outside. Have started to fight even though Gold has evolved to level E. But facing a very dangerous B-grade flower king, had to seize the opportunity to find primordial essence. After walking for a while, his hands got green digestive juice from it. Nearby, Duan Fei suddenly heard a cry for help, but it imitated and recreated the shape of the person it absorbed, wanting to scare him. Then everyone let out a cry of pain. The monster spoke again. He greatly appreciated his courage, so he decided to give him a way of life as long as you leave his body. Now he will forget everything he wants you to think carefully about. While it didn't change his mind, he saw something shining nearby, probably a primordial crystal. There he asked why he knew who he was. In the end, didn't want to hear his nonsense. Duan Fei flew to get the original crystal directly. He didn't expect the monster's primordial essence to be so huge. But it was so small that it threatened him not to come here or he wouldn't be polite. When he died, he was still having difficulties and activated the devouring ability when he came into contact with the monster tree. He was surprised why he had pure plant energy in his body. Then after that, in an instant, he was in the evolution tree world, and he acknowledged his courage. Both of them are flora, so the evolution tree can directly absorb the essence of flowers. That way it can get pure energy, so it can evolve. She can't help but feel annoyed, Goldie. Now the evolution tree, everything around her has been promoted to a higher level than its owner. This is when he receives the contractual ability to be able to form a contract with the target, and gain that person's ability if the other party dies. Contract fails. The limit is human. This belongs to the devouring ability enhancement aimed at zombies, and aimed at humans. After escaping, he brought Li Feng to this place for detoxification. He was willing to make a contract with him to gain the ability to kill during the time needed for both of them to recover. He went out to collect the next ability shard. He would also sign a contract with Chenjia Hao, making it easier for the police to coordinate with the villagers' ability to deal with low-level zombies. Then after that, currently he needed more shards. There was still one more thing. Not far from this place, he felt a familiar aura. This aura is not like a zombie, but it wasn't human either. He followed that aura to meet a little girl, and that strange aura came from here. The girl panicked and asked who he was and why he appeared in this place, obviously around here. All his eyes and ears just getting closer would soon detect him. Duan Fei thought that this girl was the one behind the zombies. Luckily, he didn't scare them away by killing. Otherwise, this kid will run away. The angry girl wants him to apologize for killing the cephalopod first. She wanted to ask what her name was. She pouted and asked Anya not to say her name, as Anya expected. She remembered it was an S-rank female soldier. In her previous life, her nickname was the Black Queen. After the apocalypse occurred, Anya was the first to be infected, but somehow she was not injured. and her consciousness was not lost. Anya was the first to be able to control zombies. There are two types of power. The first is mental memory, which uses mental power to destroy the opponent's consciousness. The second was the unique ability to control zombies. If he could persuade them to join him, that would be great. The two people stood up when the strange beast attacked Anya's abilities. Not enough to control it. The little girl was afraid to be carried on his shoulder with just a few moves. He defeated the big monster with these few tricks. He officially lured the girl to follow him. Duan Fei brought Anya home to meet everyone now that the situation had changed. He needed to discuss a new plan with Li Feng and Jia Hao. Then, after that, he told him. In the end, the situation became more complicated, and two more unknown forces emerged. If you continue to stay here, you will be in danger. He wanted to return them temporarily to the shelter waiting for him. They didn't agree why they could abandon him and leave him alone. Duan Fei doesn't want people to worry about him just for Huan's safety. He would let Goldie take everyone back to the shelter. Because the center has the potential to emerge clues, he must investigate clearly. They understand what he is saying and agree to go. Now that he also had Li Fang's abilities, they were useless to stay. Li Feng asked if Anya was with them too, because she was still a baby. The child will go with you. He is so special he can't be sent back to the shelter. So Goldie prepares to take everyone back to the shelter. Anya noticed that Goldie wanted to go with them and seemed disobedient, so the girl used her ability to let Goldie listen to her words and left. Then after that, there was a group of people on the other side looking for the relic just like him. They were lucky enough to find it and got down to it one step ahead of Duan Fei. Only then did he discover Anya's strange aura, who heard that and said that this aura was frightening. The evolutionary tree also reacted strongly when he saw a mutant monkey, but was burned to death. Perhaps it was a group of people with unknown backgrounds who added an aura that suggested the possibility that the relic had been opened by people who had the same goal as him.